The 2023 and 24 NBA season is right around the corner, and with every new season of NBA basketball, we get to see if the new rookies are really all that, or if they're just hype. And based off the title and thumbnail of this video, I think you know exactly where I'm going with this. It would honestly be an understatement to say that Victor Wembanyama has been hyped up to be the next generational talent of our era. One of the biggest elephants in the room of the 2023 and 24 season is how well is Victor Wembanyama actually going to perform in the NBA. The guy looked like a Kevin Durant on steroids in France. But what will actually happen once he plays against the toughest, most fierce, and most talented competition on the planet? In today's video, we're going to attempt to answer this question as objectively as possible. In today's video, we're going to truly find out what Victor Wembanyama's rookie season will look like. And we're going to make a lot of calculated predictions in 4 different categories: stats, awards, team success, and injuries. The first category we're going to look at is stats. And of the 4 categories, this is the one I've seen the most speculation around. We're going to look at 6 different stats that I'm sure you guys have never heard of before: points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, and field goal percentage. Over the last few months, I've seen a lot of variance around this question. Some people think he'll drop a 30 and 15 triple-double with 3 blocks and 2 steals in his first season. Some people think he'll only average 13 and 6 a game. Everyone is all over the place with Wemby's stats, but as much as us fans like to think that Victor Wembanyama is this mythical figure that will completely dominate the league in day one and change the NBA forever, I've got a little spoiler for you. We've seen plenty of generational big men enter the league before, and with that, we have numbers of several generational big men's stats of their rookie season right at our fingertips. When Dirk Nowitzki was drafted, people were both intrigued and skeptical of a 7-foot big man that's go-to option on offense was to shoot the long ball. It was such a rare sighting 25 years ago. Dirk only averaged 8 points, 3 boards, and 1 assist, and less than a block and steal in his rookie year. When Kristaps Porzingis was drafted, besides Knicks fans overreacting, people thought that this 7'3" mobile big man with the ability to hit threes consistently and block shots was going to absolutely terrorize the league. Porzingis in his rookie year averaged 14, 7, and 1 with a hair under 2 blocks a game. I mentioned these 2 players in specific because they reminded me of Wemby the most, but we've seen a lot more highly anticipated big men enter the league. I found the 33 most highly sought after young bigs coupled with a few great wing prospects in about the last 30 years or so. And I found their rookie stat lines, and some of these might surprise you. The average stat line of these rookies is 16.2 points a game, 8.4 rebounds, 2 assists, 0.8 steals, and 1.5 blocks. This stat line seems pretty standard for young and upcoming NBA big men, a bunch of young players that haven't quite hit their ceiling yet. Some of the biggest stat lines we've seen of these generational talents are pretty impressive, like Shaquille O'Neal in 1992 and 93, where he put up a ridiculous 23, 13, and 1 with a whopping 3.5 blocks. Or what about Tim Duncan with a very staggering 21 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2.5 blocks in the 1997 and 98 season. Thinking more recently, Blake Griffin in his rookie year in 2011 put up an insane 22 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 assists. Even more recently, Zion Williams, who only played 24 games in his rookie year, put up 22, 6, and 2, which is pretty impressive. These are some of the best though. Andre Bargnani, who was also a big man who loved to shoot the ball and was also drafted number 1, only averaged 11 points and 3 rebounds with less than 0 blocks, assists, and steals. Kevin Garnett, despite having an amazing career, only averaged 10 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and about a block and a half in his rookie year. Or God forbid Wemby doesn't end up like Anthony Bennett, who averaged 4 points and 3 rebounds a game his rookie year. So if Victor Wembanyama is really all that, you would assume he would fall under the top half of this list. Well, if we take the averages of the better 17 players, the stat line averages are 20 points, 9.8 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 0.9 steals, and 1.8 blocks. And honestly, this stat line seems pretty spot on with what Wemby will do this season, except with more blocks. Is putting up 20, 10, and 3 really a stretch to ask for Wemby in his rookie year? I don't think so. The other area of stats I want to cover is efficiency. As we've seen by Victor Wembanyama's play style, this guy loves to shoot the deep ball, and many people are saying he's going to deal with efficiency problems in his rookie year, especially looking at the summer league games. But how true really is this? As we take a look at some of these same big men prospects, it really surprises me how efficient most of these guys were in their first year. 20 of the 33 prospects shot over 50% in their rookie year. But looking at this list, most of these players shoot inside shots only. This list looks impressive until you look down a little bit and you see all of the bigs and wings that like to shoot the ball from the outside. All of these stretch bigs and lanky wings dealt with efficiency problems in their rookie year. Dirk only shot 40% in his rookie year. Porzingis only shot 42%. Bargnani only shot 42% also. And Bosch only shot 45%. Even KD only shot 43% his first year. And unfortunately, I think we're going to see the same thing with Wemby. As much as we like to pedestalize this guy, with all the outside shooting he likes to do, I think he'll have some efficiency problems in his rookie year when taking the leap into playing against NBA level defense. The next category we need to talk about is individual awards. During the 2023 and 24 season, Victor Wembanyama has a lot of potential to take home some of the league's toughest awards, but it'll take a really impressive season to do so. One of the most obvious awards that Wemby's name is written all over this year is Rookie of the Year. From the rookie class of 1979 all the way to 2022, the first overall draft pick has won the Rookie of the Year 15 times. That's a 34% chance of the number 1 pick winning it, which is surprisingly pretty low, but I think the odds are pretty favorable for Wemby. Let's take a look at some of the more challenging awards to win as a rookie. Making an all-star team in your first year is a really tall task. All-time greats like Hakeem, Ewing, Shaq, and Duncan all made the all-star game their rookie year. There have been 45 rookies in NBA history that have made the all-star game, but most of them were from the early days of basketball. Ever since 1998, only 2 rookies have made the All-Star game, Yao Ming in 2003 and Blake Griffin in 2011. And that's it. Making an all-defensive team as a rookie is also a very tall task. We've seen 25 rookies make an appearance over NBA history, but similar to the All-Star appearances, most of them were from the beginning days of the league. Of course, you still have some somewhat modern greats on here like Duncan, Michael Jordan, and Larry Bird, but the latest one on here is Tim Duncan in 1998, 25 years ago. But do you know what's even harder than that? Making an all-NBA team as a rookie. We've only seen 2 players of any era make an appearance, and I'll give you a second to guess them. It's Tim Duncan and Larry Bird. Not even Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Magic Johnson, or Hakeem Olajuwon made it, who were all spectacular players in their first season. But there's one area I believe Victor Wembanyama could shock the world. Over 77 years of NBA basketball, there has never been a rookie that's won Defensive Player of the Year. And Victor Wembanyama might just be the first. He's already proven that he can play elite level defense against some of the world's best offensive players, especially around the rim. I think if Wemby can push his blocks per game around that 3 number, you'll have a real chance of taking this award home. But what's different from the category of awards compared to the other 3 categories is that Wembanyama can use one of his greatest strengths to his advantage, his popularity. It's been impossibly rare to see an NBA prospect with this amount of hype going into their rookie year. With all the media attention this guy gets, I think there's a real chance that we see him win several different awards, like potentially an All-Star appearance, Rookie of the Year, All-Defensive Team, and even a Defensive Player of the Year. But we'll just have to wait and see. The third category I want to talk about is Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs' projected team success in 2024. Wemby could have all the individual stats and awards in the world, but basketball is a team sport. Winning matters. And throughout NBA history, we've seen that winning as a rookie is very, extremely difficult, almost impossible. When looking at the first overall pick of the draft from 1979, which was Magic Johnson, all the way until 2022, which was Paolo Banchero, the odds of finding any real team success was slim. When looking at the recent 43 years of basketball, only 9 teams that got the first overall pick made the playoffs. Only 9. That's only a 20% chance, and of those 9 teams, 5 of them were eliminated in the first round. I think the NBA media really needs to tone down their expectation of the Spurs in 2024. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, as they say. And many of you guys may think that it's just the first overall pick busts that didn't make it to the playoffs. but countless NBA greats didn't even sniff the playoffs their rookie year. Patrick Ewing and the Knicks were the 11th seed his rookie year. Shaq and the Magic were the 9th seed. Iverson and the 76ers were the 14th seed. Anthony Davis and the Hornets were also the 14th seed. Even the king himself, LeBron James, didn't even make the playoffs in his rookie year. And these are just a few examples of many all-time great talents that couldn't quite make the playoffs their rookie year. But we've seen it happen though. In 1997 and 98, Tim Duncan led the Spurs to the 5th seed in the West and the conference finals. In 2018, Ben Simmons led the 76ers to the 3 seed and the Eastern Conference Finals. In 1979 and 80, Magic Johnson was a top 2 contributor for the Lakers who won the finals, and he won the finals MVP. But the Lakers were already an established team. Right here, this chart shows the impact that the same 44 first overall picks had on their team. Impact on this chart is defined as wins in their rookie year minus wins from their previous season. Tim Duncan leads this pack by a lot, with an impressive 36 win difference. In 1996 and 97, the Spurs were one of the worst teams in the league, with only 20 wins. Following the draft of Tim Duncan, the Spurs skyrocketed to 56 wins. The next highest score we have on here is Ben Simmons in 2018, with 24 added wins. Shaq and Bargnani both added 20 extra wins, and Hakeem and LeBron were both slightly under them with less than 20 added wins. And then all the way at the end of the chart, we see Andrew Wiggins in 2015, which the Timberwolves went from 40 wins in the previous year to only 16 when Wiggins was drafted, because they got rid of Kevin Love and other key pieces to rebuild. The average score for wins added by these draft picks was surprisingly only 8 wins. The Spurs in 2023 had a whopping 22 wins. That means it would take them a literal miracle to turn them into a contending team. It would take a miracle that the Spurs have already seen before in their organization. Anything else besides that would result in best case scenario, quick first round exit. And that's if the Spurs get really lucky. Reality being that the chances of them making the playoffs next year are very slim. I think all of this just shows how out of touch most of the media and fans are with what the Spurs will actually do next season. All this hype for Wemby to drag the Spurs into the playoffs somehow is a real stretch. Truth be told, next year for the San Antonio Spurs will most likely be another year put into the rebuilding process. The last category that's unfortunately necessary to discuss when talking about a player like Victor Wembanyama is injuries. Because Wemby is pretty much Slender Man in a pair of basketball shoes, he has a lot of injury potential going into the NBA. I mean, look at Chet. He took one blow from LeBron in the Drew League, and poof, there goes his rookie season. Because Wemby has such an interesting build, it's so hard to compare him against typical NBA big men. But throughout NBA history, we've been blessed with a few unique built basketball players. Players that are either very tall and lanky, or players that are just super frickin' tall. Throughout the last 40 or 50 years or so, we've seen about 17 players that have builds that have left them very susceptible to injuries. And these are guys you probably expect to see on here. Guys like Manute Bol, Kristaps Porzingis, Yao Ming, even Taco Fall. Of these 17 freakishly built human beings, 8 of them went on to have significant careers in the NBA. The other 9, who we're gonna kind of just forget about, either had a lackluster career in the league or haven't played enough to truly gauge their durability. But because we're gonna assume Wemby will have at least a somewhat significant career, let's look at these 8 guys. These 8 players are Yao Ming, George Mearson, Sean Bradley, Ralph Sampson, Mark Eaton, Kristaps Porzingis, Yao Ming, and Rick Smits. All of these guys are 7'3" or taller, and most of them are freakishly skinny. And honestly, the results of their rookie year court time was actually surprising. Of these 8 players, all 8 of them played 49 games or more. 6 of them played more than 72 games, and 5 of them played more than 80 games. That's a really good sign for Victor. All of these 8 players, 6 of them were routine starters in their first year. And honestly, I think Wemby will follow the same path. With the guidance and intelligence of Greg Popovich, former Spurs legends, and the whole San Antonio organization, they aren't going to let Wemby get hurt easily, especially in a dumb way like the Chet situation. With a prospect with the potential of Victor Wembanyama, the Spurs will make sure that this guy is properly rested and never put at an extra chance to get injured. The Spurs this season are going to limit the amount of energy that Wemby expenses during his rookie season to avoid any season-ending injury. So I think it's safe to say that all of these people that are preying on Victor Wembanyama's injury are overreacting just a little bit.